Hello everyone, going to be taking a look at another 5-star Magicite battle in Final Fantasy Record Keeper. So this time we're going to be taking a look at Famfrit, the physical water Magicite. So first let's take a look at the Magicite deck. For our main, we have Behemoth King, and as you can see I just gave him the Empowered Lightning, so he pretty much takes care of the lightning damage we need. And then for our subs, we've got Ixion for water resistance. Since he does use some ice attacks, at least according to the description, I did put Fire Main in there. Ivray, because it does give you the bonus to mind, and then also the damage bonus when your hit points are higher, so that's why I put that one in there. And then again, Garuda, so a little bit of a lightning boost, but primarily for the reduced delay in action, and then the attack bonus. So let's take a look at the main setup. So first, with Lightning, her abilities are Thundering Quad Strike and Ripper Bolt. I've never gotten to the point where I needed to go to Ripper Bolt. So far I've done it with just Thundering Quad Strike. And then for her Soul Breaks, she has Arcane, Overstrike, and then the Lightning Blitz. For Vanille, her abilities, Curata, and then Dispel. Now, you only need Dispel once in the battle, but still, I think it's important because since we're doing a team without native wall, we need to make sure that we finish this before the protective effects of wall wear off. Now, for her Soul Break, we've got Overdue Awakening, which is actually nice because not only does it instantly restore that HP, it does give you Regenga, and then also as a little bit of an extra bonus, does temporarily lower the attack, magic, defense, and resistance of all enemies, which does come in handy in this particular fight. And I'll talk a little bit more about the healing choice during the actual fight itself. Kane, he is going to be alternating between Cyclone Bolt and Lightning Dive, and then has Luminous Dragon for his Soul Break. So as you can see, it does infuse the user with lightning and raises his attack a moderate amount, defense, and removes delay from jump attacks. Oh yes, also for lightning, as you can see, her Lightning Blitz Ultra actually is a Bravery. So again, that comes in very helpful during this fight. Next, Prompto. He is primarily going to focus on Spark Offering as a way to decrease the enemy's lightning resistance, and then just have Tempest Snipe in there as well for a little extra damage. His Soul Break is going to be Trigger Happy, which is nice because not only does it deal the several hits to the enemy, but it does also temporarily reduce the delay of... I'm sorry, not reduce the delay. It does reduce delay, but the big effect is reducing lightning resistance. So that actually seems to be a trend I've seen in a lot of the 5-star Magicites. Since their defenses and resistances are so high, a lot of people try to use some sort of ability that reduces their resistance. And finally, the Onion Knight. He is going to be using Flash Disaster, but his primary role is going to be to entrust Vanille so she can continue healing. And for his Soul Break, just Forbidden Power. Now, as far as record materia, everyone's pretty much got their fully level dived. So for Onion Knight, we're focusing on his one that removes the delay, as well as celerity. Prompto, just his normal legend materia. Same thing with Kane, just his normal ones. Increase lightning damage and increase attack for every Dragoon ability used. Vanille, again, you can see that just using her standard ones. And then finally for Lightning, for this particular one, we are using just her standard ones. I mean, I do have her one that gives her the bonus to, or starts her with Lightning, decided not to use it, and... Okay, just a second. Okay, yeah, I guess the ability to trigger Lightning twice. I thought that was standard, but I guess it's not. So, so we're not using both of her standard abilities. But as I said, it will pull us through the fight in this particular battle. So here we go. Now, the first thing we do is we kick it off with the Fabula Guardian, get that wall up. And we have to hold back on Vanille's healing for now, and because what he does is when he starts out, he'll do that attack there that you just saw that hits the middle 3 players. But then after that, he does a gravity attack, which does damage based on your remaining hit points as opposed to a fixed amount. So you got to hold back on that healing. So there you see the gravity attack. But fortunately, we've got Overdue Awakening, and this is actually a very key strategy in this particular setup, is holding back on the healing. You always want to try to make sure that you're getting it when the regeneration effect is still, when it's maybe about to end or it's ended, so that way you can keep the hit points coming, and you'll see why later in the battle. So one of the things I don't like about this particular battle, at least with the setup I'm using right now, it is very RNG heavy. It does rely a bit on luck. If the abilities triggering twice, and then also whether Prompto's Spark Offering takes effect, and also again whether Onion Knight and Prompto and Lightning, if their lightning attacks trigger twice. So that can actually be the difference between success and failure in this battle. Is it just all comes down to RNG. So my best time for this so far has been about 1 minute and 1 second, and I didn't quite do that good in this particular battle, but we did pull it through barely, as you'll see as the fight progresses. So again, with Behemoth King is nice because he pops in every now and then to attack and usually breaks the damage cap. Didn't in that particular case, but if we get lucky and if the Prompto's lightning resist debuffs start stacking, then it actually does break the damage cap most of the time. So what I'll do for Onion Knight is the first couple times he'll entrust, I'll usually have him entrust to Vanille, but then as it gets starts to get closer to that 30-second mark, we want to be mindful because we want to try to renew the Forbidden Power. And also we have to pay attention, since again we don't have Native Wall and we can't recast it after the 2 Roaming Warriors are done. We have to make sure that we're hitting the renewal of Fabula Guardian at the right time. So again, as you can see, I skip Vanille several times because we want to make sure we're saving that Overdue Awakening for when we need it. So this again, where the Bravery is extremely helpful because it does give you another way to break the Soul Break, or break the damage cap. Yeah, he does this ability, which is kind of a pain in the butt because not only does it damage you, but it heals himself a little bit as well. So again, Thunder and Lightning took a nice chunk out of his health there. For some reason with Vanille, I usually get pretty lucky with her on getting the white magic abilities to double cast, so that's always helpful. Now, I actually do have Kane's Awakening, and I thought that would actually carry me through this battle, but for some reason I couldn't get that particular setup to work. And again, I've seen people use similar setups on this fight where instead of Vanille as the healer, they will use usually like Aerith with her second Ultra Soul Break, the Innocent Cure, and not only that, have the full level dive, which is nice because, as I've shown in other videos, when you cast a white magic ability, it will sometimes heal the party for a small amount of HP. I tried that setup. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get it to work. She just wouldn't do the special ability where she heals the party a little bit. It just never seemed to want to take effect. Now, I suppose you could try using Alara with her first Ultra Soul Break on this one, But again, I tried that. I just couldn't get it to work. So that's why I chose Vanille. And again, the fact that it does give that debuff to the enemy, I think helps a little bit. But unfortunately, with these tougher boss fights, those abilities that reduce damage and whatnot doesn't do as much, but it still doesn't hurt. I mean, it does make a noticeable difference. Like I said, I have tried doing this setup with Alara, but I couldn't get it to work, so just Vanille with her Overdue Awakening seems to really help. And again, as you can see, holding off for a moment on that one because you can tell that the Regenga effect is still going. So now we're getting about ready to do the Arcane Overstrike. Yep, good thing I saved it there because as you can see, just did the gravity attack. So this will bring everyone back up, and this is where, again, it is a little helpful to have that Ivray in there because it does give you that little bit of a damage boost when your hit points are higher. So yeah, you definitely need at least 8 Hones of Flash Disaster, otherwise you're probably going to run out. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing the Arcane here. This is where the fight starts to get tricky near the end because when he gets down to a certain point, what he'll do is, yep, he'll cast Protect on himself. So this is where you want to use that Dispel. But what really is the thing that really irritates me about this particular fight is when you get low, he uses a Savage Water attack that silences the entire party. And even though Vanille has moderate resistance to silence since she's fully level dived, it still seems to take effect. Because of course. So, I don't know. I personally hate it when they have those silence attacks that ignore your... Yeah, this is... Nope, this isn't the attack. So as you can see, this is where it can get a little tricky with your timing because you want to make sure that you are triggering that, or you're renewing that Regenga effect before he uses that Savage Water attack. So this way you'll have some healing to pull you through while you're waiting for Vanille to recover from the silence. And I don't think it happens all the time. Again, I haven't paid as much attention to the Savage Water attack because I've only seen it silence near the end. So again, I don't know if... I said I don't know if they intentionally do it where it's always going to take effect. Yeah, this is it, I think. Yep, and there you see she's silenced. So pretty much... So yeah, this one, what I did is instead of entrusting Vanille, I did entrust to Lightning instead because, yeah, this is one of those battles where I just barely pulled it off. My best time so far is 1 minute and 1 second. This one took a little longer because everyone died, except for Lightning in the end. And, I mean, the first time I managed to beat him, everyone carried through, but... Okay, so we... Yep, this slice, as you can see here, I barely pull it off, and the only reason I pulled it off in this particular playthrough is because I managed to get that Overdue Awakening off so that she could have the regeneration effect. And not taking any chances there. That's why I didn't decide to go for the... this is where my heart was racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour because, again, he's got that barely visible little sliver of life left. So it's like, okay, am I going to do it? And I decided rather than just a normal attack, I would just do the Soul Break and hope it pulled off, and fortunately it did. So as you can see, nothing like squeaking by at the skin of your teeth. Now, honestly, if he didn't use that stupid attack that silenced the entire party, this fight would definitely be a lot easier. So yeah, I only got Expert, but like I said, I have mastered it. Just this particular run through when I was recording it, that's when I didn't do as well. And Yeah, and as I was saying, part of the problem with this fight is that it is a bit RNG heavy. I mean, if the first time I did it, I think the reason I did as well as I did and I pulled it off is because the abilities double casted, and not only that, Prompto was able to inflict more of the lightning resistance debuff on the enemy, which, as said, can be a huge determining factor in these particular fights. So this particular run through, not the prettiest one, but it got the job done. And if you're struggling with this particular fight, hopefully the strategy I introduced will help you out. So with that said, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.